Hey, yo, how's that monkey game doing? Breaking all-time records. And we're heading into the weekend, so I would imagine, like I've been saying before, the monkey game is gonna be going through the roof. Because, as you can see here, and some people are trying to point this out as being some kind of a, I don't know, a big W to point out things. Oh, you could say, oh, look at the drop-off that's right there. Oh my god, it goes down to still like 250,000 people, and then it skyrockets back up to over 2 million people, conking out at what, 2.4 million at this point in time. Okay, and that was on a Thursday. Okay, that was on a Thursday. I can imagine, maybe even by the time that you guys see this, okay, because this will be going out on Friday, and then over in China, you're going to be into Saturday, and who even knows what's going to happen that Saturday evening. Could we get 2.5? Could we get closer to 3 as more people, and including more people in the West, seeing the good word of mouth? Because just about everybody who's played it has given props to the gameplay, because I've seen a little bit of it. Mahler streamed it earlier this week, and yeah, I liked what I seen. I was also not exactly entirely convinced to pick it up at this point in time, because he went through a couple of ill-timed crashes, and, well, Game Science has come out and said that, yeah, we're going to be working on patches. Okay, yeah, we're going to be working hard to smooth out some of the rough edges so that, yeah, our performance not exactly up to par. But to be completely honest, this is Game Science's first big release. They're a mobile developer, and they're doing a hell of a good job, all things considered. So, yeah, you smooth out that stuff, you'll probably get a purchase out of me, all things considered, because, like I said, I like what I see. But as much as I like what I see, and over 2 million people like what they see just on Steam, because it's over on PS5, it's over on Epic Game Store, so yeah, concurrent players this weekend, it's going to be well north of 3 million, because good word of mouth is out there from the people on the ground, from the influencers, from the streamers. The only people who are speaking out against this are the hack journalists. The new NPC marching orders have come out. Woke, definitely not racist, DI journalist Paul Tassi and woke grifter Mighty Keefe are now being actually racist by calling out Black Myth Wukong because it's popular with the Chinese. I beg your pardon? Does China not count as real gamers? I don't even know how that diminishes the game success in any way. Even at not peak, yeah, like I said before, game is doing, yeah, 250,000 users, and the US hasn't hit the weekend yet. So that's why I'm thinking that, yeah, it's definitely going to be something. But we looked at this last time we talked about this. 90%, it's 88% of the purchases are all in China. I've also seen some unverified accounts that even some employers in China are giving people the day off to go and, check out the game. But the way that they're trying to spin this is that, oh yeah, it's bots. I floated the idea, but I also think that this is a huge point of nationalistic pride, which I like to see. It's just unfortunate that it's got to come out of communist China. For all games sold, even global Western games, China is the biggest market. Yep, no doubt Wukong is a cultural phenomenon in China, but trying to say it doesn't count because they are Chinese, as if Chinese gamers are somehow lesser, is the type of casual racism that DEI defenders claim to be against. It's 1000% of the time projection with these weirdos, and yeah, that is Forbes' Paul Tassi saying that, damn, now it's gained 2 million players. What's going on? How can we solve this mystery? Yep, that's all right. They're all fake. It's all bots, right? And then you had PC Games N. Don't know what the N stands for. Maybe they're even more racist than they're letting on. Black Myth Wukong drops nearly 2 million players in several hours. Then we go back to the Steam charts, and oh yeah, seems to rebound fairly nicely. But Mighty Keefe, the craziest part is apparently only 3% of the player base is from the USA. It was a little bit more than that, but let's be completely honest. Not the weekend, not peak gaming hours, and yeah, there's a hell of a lot more of them than there are of you. So Western devs that mess stuff up ain't learning crap from this. Yeah, potentially hitting a sizable portion of the population. Yeah, why would they want to learn from the success of this a game that tells a well-regarded historical tale for that nation, retells it faithfully, is a hell of a good game on top of that. Why would you want to do that? Okay, but that's not the only meltdown. Okay, one of the most insufferable gaming forums on the internet, one site that, to be completely honest, outside of hearing what I hear from that place, Reset Era, that's where all the most insufferable hacks from the old GameFAQs days and to go share their most insufferable of opinions. Well, they're getting depressed after Black Myth Wukong breaks concurrent player number records. Well, they're too busy in their hive mind trying to say how, oh, Star Wars Outlaws is actually great, guys. My space combat, don't mind. The Crimson Chin is the main player. Numerous individuals who participate on Reset Era became depressed after Black Myth Wukong broke the record for the most concurrent players on Steam for a single game. Now, there was a point in time, right, back when I was a teenager, where if a game or a product, a media product that I supported didn't do extremely well, I would have got upset, okay? Just like with team sports, okay? If the Flames or the Ravens or the Blue Jays never made the playoffs back when I was a teenager. I remember the legendary 2004 Calgary Flames Stanley Cup run. I was incredibly depressed after they got robbed out of the Stanley Cup because Martin Jelena obviously, deflected that puck into the net. It went across the line, and Nikolai Habibulin, his pad was way back, and there was enough space, and you could see right there if there was, video replay, the Canadian Stanley Cup drought would have been over 18 years ago. Wow, that was 18 years ago. But no. These are grown-ass men that are out there freaking out because a game does good. Yeah, that's interesting. Like, you guys have heard me for this past year talk at length about how much I love Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think it is still, at this point in time, even for as good and as popular as Black Myth Wukong is, I don't think anything's going to surpass Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, okay? And I'm not butthurt that the game's not selling that great. I don't care too much that it's not a console seller. I'm just waiting for it to come out on PC so I can have a hell of a great experience with mods on top of it. I get mad when people mischaracterize it. That's different than being a fanboy cheering from the sidelines. You can not like or you can be indifferent towards a game. Just don't lie about it. But that's what Reset Era does when it comes to these games. Maybe that's why they're so big mad about it. According to SteamDB, yeah, we've talked about it and I showed the list, and yeah, it's crushing right now. Absolutely crushing, on the cusp, and potentially, I don't know for sure, it's possible, but it could end up cracking PUBG Battlegrounds all-time 3.2 million concurrent player record this weekend. It would be interesting. It would be very interesting. Possible, not probable. The thread title, Black Myth Wukong, hits 2.2 million concurrents on Steam. Numerous individuals shared how depressed and frustrated they were due to the amount of players playing the game. One asshole wrote, "That's unexpected, to be honest. It's just the start. I was thinking 200 to 250K. Yeah, to be completely honest, I was thinking mid to high six digits at best, but over 2 million? Didn't see that one coming. I guess people don't care nor pay attention to the issues with the devs as usual. Well, obviously, you don't understand the difference between mistranslation and a hit piece, but then again, you're a regular Reset Era user, so that's exactly what I would expect. Planet Smasher, depressing that the game is made by such horrible devs, gets rewarded. Just genuinely sad. Gamers that really don't care, huh? So the best-selling game of 2023 and 2024 can both go in the trash. These are the quote-unquote gamers that are out there. That is the modern audience that all of those Western devs are running scared of. It's the reason that they put all of this trash in modern games, because they're frightened by these freaks. These freaks in the Reset Era forums. The he-theys of the world. And instead, if you eschew these fractional morons, you will go out there and you will reap the benefits. You might not hit 2.2 million, but you can probably do well enough with your game that you'll spurn another thread about how they're seconds away of picking out a nice length of rope to cope with the success of your game. The pathetic hysteria doesn't end on an internet forum. Now we're heading over to a platform that doesn't even get the game from a Nintendo enthusiast? Wait, what? You guys got great games over there, okay? Like, don't even worry about this. We all share a common hobby. We should stand together to make sure as many people can enjoy it as possible. Black Myth Wukong lack of diversity is attracting the wrong type of fans. I mean, you're a Nintendo Stan account. You're complaining about lack of diversity. Methinks that you're just being an opportunist, okay? Then PC gamer laying down the law, but try to do these extortion attempts, right? We asked Black Myth Wukong developers about the controversy over its founder's past mistranslated remarks, but Game Science only reply was, "We can't hear you over the piles of money coming in right now." They're still trying to attack off the back of that bad IGN article. It's impressive, man. Absolutely impressive, the lengths to which these freaks are losing it. Just like the monkey game, or be done with it after you're done with your review. But .esports associate editor Tom Foley rages at Black Myth Wukong developers and demand the game include more diversity. But to be completely honest and to be completely fair, guys, there is plenty of diversity in the game, but it's a Chinese story. story set in China that is actually accurate to the setting. Unlike Assassin's Creed Shadows. If you want to talk about quote-unquote diversity, your main character is a monkey. I thought you guys liked that, and you were always aiming for that. Oh wait, we're not talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows anymore. No, it was always about more female representation, right? Oh, but there's actually plenty of female representation within the game. It's just, there's a main character, and then there's also main bosses, okay? Spider Queen being, front and center, and one of the most prominent people featured in the game. But oh yeah, you take a look at the different characters on display, and I understand why you're so upset when it comes to a lack of diversity, because oh, that's actually what you wanted. Oh, see, it makes a whole lot more sense, and that's why when we were waiting for the ultimate review to come out, ladies and gentlemen, Kotaku has finally dropped their review of Black Myth Wukong, and that picture that they decided to go on right there is just the creme de la creme. They could not have picked a better screenshot to represent the author having to bang this out in the past couple of hours, because no, unfortunately for us all, it is not the great Alyssa Mercante spinning her web in order to include how this was representative of her own personal 9/11 on social media, but instead it's some soy boy cuck who's freaking out for, I'm gonna let you figure out exactly why he's so mad. But Black Myth Wukong, the Kotaku review, because that's better. The visuals are truly stunning, but game science breakout blockbuster undermines its own efforts at epic storytelling and exhilarating combat. Well, why is that exactly? Now, we're not going to read this entire soliloquy, mostly because it is, well, it's a Kotaku article, ergo it is insufferable, but we can go ahead and glance over the top of it, right? There's a moment in Black Myth Wukong that would be a perfect visual metaphor for the game's hopeful, proud ascension as China's biggest breakthrough into the Western AAA pantheon. Unfortunately, that moment is restricted, and we can't talk about that. There are moments in Black Myth Wukong of such enthralling beauty and visual poetry and myth making, unlike almost anything in current AAA gaming space right now. We can't show them to you or discuss their contents. There is something to be said about the fact that despite the rather major, all-encompassing element of the original text, the goddess Giyan is such a marginalized part of the game's narrative. But while reviewers aren't restricted on feminist propaganda, you see what they're hung up on? That old do's and don'ts list of enjoy the game and stop putting in your personal politics, you bunch of freaks. Our streamers are, since discussing it requires delving into the particulars of the story. You guessed it, we can't talk about that because it offends your personal sensibilities. Has very little to do with the game on display, but no, my feminism comes first. Towards the end of the review, we have a game at odds with itself, and here's where they go full Kotaku. There is a clear love of the culture, of the myth to be found here, wrapped around a just okay Souls-light. Well, that's not what I'm hearing at all from the people who are actually playing it instead of the freaks writing about it. That's being made to hold far too much weight on its own, divorced from all its pretenses of bringing one of the most famous Chinese myths to life in astonishing detail. Black Myth Wukong isn't necessarily a bad time, provided all you truly want and need from the game is an angry little magic monkey. Whoa, calm down with the monkey hate. In a glorified boss rush, fighting off various animals who know ancient martial arts. But anyone who goes into it with a mindset will definitely find their path deliberately beset by the game's epic pretenses on all sides. Good, intricate storytelling typically serves to enhance a game like this. Here, that way it's executed, it's ungratifying hindrance, and there's a lot of it. Black Myth Wukong is trying to please two very specific crowds. Both will end up doing extra homework to get the goods in Black Myth Wukong at every turn, and the game is doing itself no favors by leaving pages out of the textbook. It's left being big and ostentatious for bigness and ostentatiousness' sake. I know big words, right? And the most exquisite things are in a small, quiet, thoughtful, dreamlike. I thought this was supposed to be a game review, not your own personal journey. Or journal, rather. It's a game whose art is at war with itself, which is awful ironic, since Sun Wukong's whole arc and journey to the West involves letting go of delusions of grandeur beyond his reach. Is this shit that this guy's talking into his own mirror? Wondering why he hasn't been picked up by the likes of the New York Times with the Washington Post and that he's simply still writing for a failing outlet. But again, there's not much we can say about how the game handles that. That's a damn shame, and it's not nearly worth as much saying otherwise. But so be it. Black Myth Wukong can just be another forgettable, also ran in a crowded genre, and there's nothing else gamers need to hear. Yeah, remember guys, according to Kotaku, it's going to be totally and completely forgettable. Alright, 2.4 million concurrent players, and we haven't even hit its first launch weekend. Unbelievable cope on display. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.